All right. TRT, in my opinion. You don't need to listen to my opinion. When it comes to this, I've done a lot of research. Before I put it in my body, I for sure did research. And it does the things that you think it does. For me, it does, gives you that little extra confidence. It definitely gives you a better libido. It's just overall wellness feels a little better. I mean, obviously I had low testosterone, so that's the reason why I had to get into this. And it's just a lifetime of terrible decisions and stuff like that. So, it's just, it's what happens in life. You make bad decisions. That's the one thing you have to understand is it happened. That was yesterday. Can you be better today? That's all you're going to ask for, right? That's all you can be every single day. Just be better than you were yesterday. Oh, life is a hard thing to do. That's the one thing about all these influencers that kind of bothers me sometimes. Is when they want to tell you how easy this is. If it was easy, why would you want to even do it? Because you can't separate yourself from everybody else when you're doing the same things as everybody else. And when it comes to fitness, and there's certain levels of fitness. You know what I mean? Like there's the people that go every once in a while and they're fine and they eat fine and they don't do a lot of junk and they're fine. And then there's that next level of them. They're a little more crazy. They do the hiking and the running and they try to stick to their diet a little more. And then there's that other level. Obviously there's the bodybuilders and stuff, and they're way up here. They got different kind of science, they got different goals, they got different things. So we can't really lump them in with us. But obviously they're achieving. They know their diets, they know other stuff, whatever chemicals they're using, they take care of that stuff. Some of them abuse it and they pay for it in the end. But when it comes to TRT, don't even consider this when you're a youngster. Don't even think about it. Obviously there's special occasions or cases that, that's different. And who am I to give you that suggestion? But I'm giving you my opinion on TRT. And my opinion is this: go to a doctor. Especially if you're 35 plus, 30 plus, just get it tested. And when it comes to that, it's crazy when the levels between 300 and 1200 is the levels that they're okay with. And if you're at 300 or 400, you probably, but here's the thing it's more about your free testosterone, and you're only using about 2% of all your testosterone. And that's high. That's more than most people. And if you get that much, that's when you're getting the good results and everything. Eat your proteins for sure. That's the biggest part of this. Cut out all those sugars and all this stuff like that. And eat your proteins first. That's the one thing to stick to this. You really, really have to focus, and you have to play tricks on yourself. I don't really have to anymore, but I still have the days where there's just the cravings and stuff. I was always a big Dr. Pepper guy, and I don't do that anymore. You cut that out, and you'll probably lose however much weight in no time. Cut out that and all the other sugars and candies and stuff like that. And that means not grabbing a candy bar here and there. It means cut it out. It's so bad for you. That's kind of how, if you're going to get on the path of being better, learning, all of those different things, if you're going to get on that path, you have to really lock in, because you can't achieve all this, this extra stuff without not just the fitness. And the fitness is very important because you're showing yourself you're very important every day, especially when you're eating a good diet and you're doing all that stuff. And I hate calling it a diet. You're eating natural foods. You're eating the right way. The diet is the stupid with the no fat, no added, this, all the ingredients of nonsense, and you read on the side of the package and you're like, I don't know how to pronounce that. If I did that, I don't even do ingredients usually, and when I say I'm just telling you the level of what you have to commit to this. It's super difficult to get on the path because you have in your mind you negotiate yourself all the time with food and drinks, and if I do this and alcohol, I hate to tell you this, man. I don't care what anybody says on all that stuff. It's just bad for you. It's bad for your brain, bad for your organs, bad for everything. Bad for your fat loss, bad for your gut for sure. And so you just have to understand is you got to make a commitment. But when you do that, when you start committing to like the food and showing up to the gym and eating right, taking your vitamins and learning and doing all that stuff, your mindset changes. Your self-worth definitely changes. And that's in my experience, but I've talked to a lot of people about it. Matter of fact, I'll get back to TRT, don't worry about it. But matter of fact, this morning, I must have that one of those little faces, not a huge face. But I have one of those faces that people can talk to. I'm always smiling. I can't help it. It's just, and you can tell, I'm always smiling. And I guess this is the side effects of what smiling looks like. But I smile with my face, I smile with my eyes. It's just the way my day goes. And man, I gotta tell you, man, getting those smiles back in return, it feels so good. Especially when you mean it. You're really interested in those people feeling good or those people feeling better about themselves. I tell you what, it's a breath of fresh air in life to, get some of that every day of just like, putting in that little extra effort for other people and trying to just let them understand is, man, people appreciate you. And that's the one thing we all look for in life, really. Me and my son talk about this all the time, but you're looking for validation because he always asks me about this. And he goes, what is that doing for you, Dad? And at first, I think I needed that a little bit. I'm gung-ho in helping people. And I already started with my friends before I started this, doing these podcasts, obviously. But the thing about the podcast is I've known a lot of people for a long time. And every one of them said, man, just do a podcast. Seriously, do a podcast. Because, you're always sharing information. You're always taking things and trying to help people with them. So why not? Why wouldn't you just share it to the masses? But I have a hard time with talking to the camera thing is because I'm an in-person person. I'm one of those, like, I feel the vibe and I try to give the vibe and I like to see people and I like to talk to you. And I like this, and I need the smile in person. I can hear the smile on the phone sometimes, but I need that smile. And it makes me feel good. And it's kind of like, the thing that drives me. I have my business that I'm working really hard on. I didn't talk about it. I just did it, like I said, I did an hour long and the video didn't record. It stopped after 1 second and my dumb ass didn't even look back at it. So I'm new and I don't know how to do this. And I don't expect anything out of this. I expect to help 5 people, 10 people, here and there. And people, I'll tell you what, when you guys tell me that I'm helping you out or that you heard what I said and it clicked something in you or you were going to do this and then you're now going to do that. Remember who I am. I'm just like you. I'm the guy that's trying to get up the mountain. But here's the thing is I'm seeing the mountain now as yes, please. Instead of seeing it, oh man, that's tall. I don't know if I can get up there. Ooh, this looks really rough. Maybe I should just go back to my life, the same, everyday life. But no, now I see that mountain and I'm like, can't wait to climb it. Can't wait to climb it. I already got my boots in there. I'm already up, if I was climbing Everest, I'm up there where they do the tents before they do the big climb. And I forget what that's called, it doesn't matter. But that's life, and that's where you got to be. And if you're young, if you can find the positivity in things instead of always being gloom. I know, man, life is different with the internet and all the different things. You guys have a different kind of world that you're living in. I grew up in is he said, she said, whatever, da da da. There wasn't even cell phones yet until I was in like high school, and we had pagers. And yeah, you have to look that up on the internet. You don't know what that is. That was a different life. Like everything wasn't under a telescope at all times, or everybody wasn't recording everything at all the time, and so you had to, you can recover from a mistake because it's not all over the internet or it's not all this or all your friends didn't find out about it at school and there's a video and so you guys are living in a different world. So you have to find the positivity different. You have to find it in yourself, and you have to be kind against what society basically is right now. Is there's not a lot of kindness out there, but you don't have to let other people rule you. You don't have to let other people make you upset or make you not be you or anything like that. You can do this. You can do this by yourself. Be strong. Show up for yourself. Learn. I know that's weird. I'm sorry. I'm saying that to youngsters. You guys are like, learn. I don't even want to go to school. Here's what you gotta understand, and you probably won't understand this for another 30 years or whatever. It's a blessing to be able to learn. It makes you better. If we could turn it around away from the fact that we have to get grades and we're judged by other people and all that stuff. If you just took in the information and got better every day, unstoppable. Grades, obviously that's gonna be good for the college and all that stuff, and that's the thing you're pursuing in life. College College to me sometimes seems almost pointless in the fact that you can get the information yourself, and nowadays, it's so expensive and all that stuff and all those loans that you got to go through. You can make yourself a better person without it, but I'm not advising against it. And if that is your goal, you achieve that. You promised it to yourself, you achieve that. You get that and be the best at it. Be the best. Learn. Don't treat it like it's a burden. It's like, I gotta learn this so I can pass that test and that guy will give me a grade. Now you learn because it makes you better. It makes you smarter. It makes you be able to deal with things better. And you learn that reason. And you don't even have to, even in your school, you don't have to just learn you have to take the class here and there. You can read other books. You can How to Influence People, How to Make Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. That's a game changer. That is like a cheat code to life. And I know it sounds dumb, and there's so many. It's sold so many copies, and I listen to a book on tape, and I listen to it all the time. That voice is magical. If you listen to the original one from the '60s, his is magical. They have a new updated version of it, and another guy reads it, and it has updated like internet stuff, how to treat that stuff. It's a good read or a good listen. I really highly recommend it. And what it does is it definitely helps you with your vocabulary, because they use way better words than I use. But it helps you it gives you situational things. It gives you this person had this situation and this is how they dealt with it. And it'll also tell you like Abraham Lincoln and Benjamin Franklin, like certain situations that they were in, that they could have acted incorrectly and ruined things. Matter of fact, there's a thing about Lincoln that he wrote a letter, like a scathing letter to one of his generals. And he, instead of sending it, because he was angry at the time, it was something with, somebody pretty big. And instead of sending it, he put it away. And then the next day he came back and he wrote a very nice, he got his concerns across, but with also giving the guy props for being who he is, and then understanding from that guy's point of view why he made the decision he made. Instead of seeing it from his point of view, he tried to see it from the other man's point of view, and he started to realize, oh, this is why you probably made that decision. Oh, this is probably why you made the decision. I can't scold you for the fact that you made decisions based on your upbringing and who you are and how you felt, and you're actually in the war and all that stuff. So instead of like scathing and critical and all that, and that's how you become a great leader. You become a great leader by lifting up the people underneath you, making them want to be. Here's the thing about it. I have employees that work for me, and they're young men, and it's a couple old, but the way I teach them and the way that I lead them is I want them to be better than me. And I give them the compliments that they need, and I don't give them the criticisms. I give them the suggestions of how to get better. And you have to understand, if I'm the manager, then it's my responsibility to make them better or to help them get better. And you don't do that by criticizing or beating down, browbeating, or making somebody feel terrible about themselves. You make them believe in themselves. Make them believe in themselves that they can achieve these things and make them do better. And with that, you have a better employee. You have an employee that wants to come back and work for you. And to have a boss that is considerate and understands, like, hey man, I was right where you were at. When I was your age, you're better than me at your age. If you can give those kind of things, if you can think about, and it helps them, lift them up to understand, instead of always beating people down to teach them and tell them they're stupid, or, you know what I mean? Not quite to that extent, but if you could talk to them as a human being and be kind. And I'm not talking about, there's certain people in this world, they don't have a lot of like self-belief, and when they do that, they tend to rebel against you. It's not because of you, and it's not because of your teaching. You have to get into the person. You have to talk to the person and understand that what do they need to be motivated? What makes them tick? What's the thing that makes them want to come to work, or or not want to come work? What is their goals in life? And if you can learn that about your employee, you can learn the right path for them to get better. Instead of everybody always beating everybody down, firing people because you quit on. Obviously we get to a certain situation with some people, then their path isn't with you, and you've done everything you could. Then you have to do that. But don't give up on people. Give them a chance. And if you're going through this growth with me, and if you're young and you're going through this, you're gonna be a bad motherfucker. Sorry the language, but believe me, I'm talking about a guy or a girl. If you put everything into something at this age, you're gonna be unstoppable. Unstoppable. I would love to have a little part in that, but not credit. I would love that one day you heard one of my videos and you strive to be better just for yourself. And if that ever happens and you make it in life and I made something or I helped you guys do something, I mean, I would love like an email or something just to let me know, because that would be amazing. I hope that I'm touching some lives. I mean, there's guys my age for sure. I know you guys, man, we're in this now, and you got to remember we're not done. We're not done. You know, it's never too late to grow or get better and all that stuff. I know in life sometimes we kind of just settle for things and it's good enough. And you know, some of us have money. No, I'm not one of us, but some of us have plenty. But do you have happiness with it? Is it, you know, you achieved and you remember the happiness you achieved on the hard stuff to get to where you're at. But now, in this state of mind, and you're not trying to grow anymore, or trying to get any better, how do you feel now? Right? Are you just sitting on your laurels and just, or do you want to keep achieving? Do you want to keep doing things? You know, it's life, you know, and it's not here forever. So do it today, you know, especially when you're older. You know, if you guys are overweight and you don't have any idea of what to do, just start today. You know, obviously it's 2:30 where I'm at. Start today. You know, go to the gym today. Don't wait till Monday. Don't wait till tomorrow. Commit to yourself right now, and that way you can start your count today. And just do this for me. How about you do? I know going to the gym every day sounds insane. Go to a place, like in your house or whatever, and I want you to give 30 minutes minimum, an hour is better, of time for yourself. If you want to do yoga or stretching, if you want to do push-ups and sit-ups, and show up every day. Boom, boom, boom. Just keep showing up. You'll be surprised, because it's not those days that you're inspired and you're motivated. It's not those days that makes you better. I mean, obviously they help, but it's the days that you don't want to go. That's where you start to train your mind. That's where you start to train your mind that, oh, that was just an excuse. You know, that wasn't a reason. That was an excuse. And if you can get your mind there, and every time, it's not going to work every time. You're going to be tired. You're going to have excuses. You're going to have reasons not to do things. I mean, I still run into things all the time, and I start negotiating myself. I don't necessarily not do it, but I'll negotiate. But sometimes when you're feeling that way, understand that you are negotiating and stop. And if you just get that thing done, it's going to be painful. It's going to be painful, because I'm talking about laundry when you don't want to do it. It's painful. Everything, it's just, but if you can bring yourself to do it right then, keep promises to yourself. And every time you do one of those, you get to start marking it on the list. Your armor starts getting thicker. You start showing up for yourself. You start believing in yourself. Like, who's supposed to believe in you if you don't believe in yourself? So show up to yourself. When you say you're not going to eat shit food, don't eat shit food. And I know you get to start getting fiended when you're starving, especially when you start telling yourself you're counting calories and you're doing all this and you can't have the things. Don't have the things in your house. It's impossible. None of us have the ability to not eat it if it's in the house. So clear it out. Don't eat it all before you do it. I mean, give it away to somebody or whatever, but start today. Be better today. And then you can be better tomorrow, and then be a little bit better the next day, a little bit the next day. You're gonna fall down a couple times. You're gonna fall off this thing, but you gotta keep getting back on. You gotta keep starting it. And the less times you fall, you keep getting back up. You know what I mean? Like, if you just every day you just start staying steady, and you start keep going. Bam! One day, holy shit, results. And that's the one thing you have to understand about working out. Results do not come quick, and they don't. You know, and when you first start the working out, if you haven't started yet, and if you're already doing, and you're not ready to like write on your diet, and you're not doing all that stuff, this is what I want you to do with that. I want you to start eating all natural diet, but I don't want you to count your calories. I don't want you to cut the whatever, you know, all these, I'm only gonna eat this. I want you to eat all natural diet. So that means you have the ingredients, you put them in, you do all that stuff. And I want you to get used to doing that, cooking yourself meals, meal prepping for other meals. So, and if you're gonna go to a party and it's gonna have food that you can't eat before you go. Bam, problem solved. So if you're not starving and fiending when you go to the party, then you're less likely to eat the food. And if you go to one of those parties and it has all this shit and stuff, just grab some of the meat. Grab some of the meat and throw it on. You gotta stay away from all the other pastas and the tortillas and all that. And if you're gonna do the whole like low carb tortillas or this and that. Remember, there's chemicals in there. There's something in there that's not good for you. And so if you can just go to the all natural diet, just start eating your all natural diet. You have a lot. It's pretty much a bunch of lettuce, bowls of meat, and maybe, if you're not trying to cut weight, then you have rice and stuff like that. I'll put some just plain pinto beans with nothing else in it, with water, I guess. And I'll eat those. I'll mix that in sometimes, so I get me some fiber and just some proteins in there too. There's carbs in that, but I don't really count my fats or my carbs. I don't have a lot of time to eat either, but so I feel I have my little containers and I have my boiled eggs, and I'm always just eating off good food. And in my mind, fast food doesn't exist. I drive past those places and they do not exist in my mind. And that's the way you have to kind of trick yourself. When it comes to going grocery shopping, stick to the outer edges. That's where the healthy food is. It's the fruits, vegetables, and when it comes to that, eat as much fruits and vegetables as you want. And I know people say, "Oh, you shouldn't eat the sugars and grapes," and I eat grapes a lot. I eat bananas and apples, and I gotta tell you, I haven't had any ill will on my body. Obviously, I don't have diabetes or anything along those lines, so that's different. And if you're a vegan, it's hard. You got to understand plant proteins don't really count as good as. And this is the opinion of a man. I'm watching a lot of specials. Please don't attack me, vegans. Do what you got to do to make yourself better. Heal yourself that way. If that's how you are, then God bless you. Do what you got to do. I'm not trying to judge you. I'm going to tell you that the nutritional facts is that plant proteins don't really register in the body as well as meat proteins. I mean, I'm just saying, and that's why I don't need no controversy on nonsense, because I mean, really, who am I with all this stuff? All I am is the guy that's going through it with you. And I just have the wherewithal I just want to share it. And I read all these self-help books and stuff, and they're not self-help books. They're communication books. Everything that I read is communication. How to, be kinder, talk to people better, how to read people's, all their facial expressions and their body language and all that stuff. But for the good. I'm not trying to learn it for evil so I can get over on somebody. You learn it so you know how to talk to a person when you see that they're in a bad mood, or you can try to read their mood before that they do it, or if you do something in the reaction to you can kind of read those things and know how to adjust the way you're talking to somebody so that you can make them more comfortable and have a conversation with them. So that's some of the stuff I'm learning with these books, and I'm listening to work. I tell them, learning Spanish. It's easy at first, but man, they start getting those words in there, and I start getting confused a little bit. I know they have all these apps and they have the headphones that translate, but there's something personal about learning somebody's language and talking to them. And in landscaping, I happen to talk a lot of Spanish. I know the key words, but I don't know enough to have a conversation. And I'd rather have the conversation with them. And so, because I again, if I can learn the language and feel like I have the emotions of the language, then I can have a better conversation with them. And that's just my opinion. And that's part of growth. I think that we all need to do that. It's funny, I was just listening to a Rogan podcast with Tucker Carlson. And with all that, I know that everybody judges everybody like their political views and what side they're on and stuff. I don't see people that way. I see people as people, and I don't care what gang you're in or whatever. Because the one thing I understand about the gang thing is the red or the blue, is that when I'm talking to you, I guess I need that information there just for the simple fact is that I know that your views are going to be different one way or the other. And when it comes to that, I will disagree with you, but I will do it with love. And I will never do it with the fact of trying to say that you're wrong. I will say that maybe I'm wrong, but this is how I feel about it. And so to make you understand is that I'm not married to my beliefs. And maybe something you said maybe convinces me of maybe going back to the middle of this conversation. Maybe my side of it, I didn't have enough information to be on my side, but I also don't have enough information to be on that side. So I'd rather sit in the middle and kind of figure it out before I start to form my opinions on things. And I've had to go back. I had to backtrack a lot of things that you don't realize that it's kind of indoctrinated in you through like government and all the stuff and the things that they teach us as kids. is I have to go back and reevaluate my values, reevaluate the things that they told me was wrong. And now that I've considered it, I've thought about it, and and maybe I have a different opinion, and maybe I'll share some of this stuff along the way. If we get a little closer, and you guys show me that we're partners, we're friends, But you gotta understand, I don't expect anything from this. I expect to help like 5 or 10 people, and my friends. I know I have a bunch of friends that watch that don't fucking ever like or do anything like that, but it's fine. I'm here to help. And it's not necessarily about my recognition for this. This is more about the fact that to see people achieve and see people and to help people when they really listen to you, and you see them like months later and they've changed and they've gone through all these things and they give you credit for it, and I don't ever take credit for it because you have to make the decision. The mindset. It's all about the mindset of things. If you understood how powerful the control of your own mind is. It's ridiculous. It's being able to step back from criticisms and all that stuff and not be defensive. And to learn, and when somebody gives you criticism, to make yourself better with it. Sometimes the criticism isn't correct, but you can step back and listen to it. And you can say, well, I can see why that person saw that or thought this or whatever. And instead of giving them that power of defense and arguing back, you take that criticism and you get better. And then you take their power because they're looking for that adrenaline rush to see your reaction, to get them get a little fired up. And when you don't give it to them, man, that blows their mind. And then the conversation goes easy. And then you can have like discourse and conversation and start to understand each other better. And maybe you might have a lifelong friend out of a person that in the past you would have argued with and fought with and disgusted, and no matter what they said, you can't hear it anymore because the first thing they said was critical of you. So if you can find a way, it's like a superpower to be able to step back and be stronger than that. You guys don't even understand. If you're young and you can just get a little of this, you don't have to be as crazy as those old dudes or whatever, but stay focused, learn, get in shape. That is the way you feel about yourself is projected on the world. And when you feel good about yourself and you're working out and you're showing up every day and you're eating right and you're doing all that stuff, all the things to make yourself better, you're making those decisions for yourself, the world changes. The world changes for you. I'm going through it right now, and like I said, I'll be 52 soon. And it's crazy because as an older man, you go through the things of like, why didn't I? And should I? Or whatever. When you really think about it, you're only ready when you're ready. If the right person would have said the right thing or didn't give up on me when I was young, maybe that would have changed stuff. But guess what? I'm here now. And hopefully I'm helping you guys learn it too, because this world needs us. This world needs people that try to achieve and try to lift others up and try to be better and learn and they need us. They need leaders. They need people to show them the inspiration of you can do it. All you have to do is just put the time and keep showing up. The world will change. That's all right, man. I had a whole hour. And back to TRT. Here's what I got to tell you about that. In my opinion, it helped me. In my opinion, it's helped me with confidence and in other areas, libido, self-belief. Obviously that comes from the work that goes into it with it, but there's something in there. And if you do it, if you're going to do TRT, obviously I know there's guys that are just buying it on the streets and you're giving yourself your own shots. Go give blood every 8 weeks. Your doctor will highly recommend it to you if you go to the doctor. Go every 8 weeks. It's called a blood dump. They know what's happening. You got to tell them that you're taking TRT when you get there. But if you go every 8 weeks, they can still use your blood. It's still good blood. It's not bad blood. But it also helps your body start to produce more blood, and it's fresher and cleaner. And so because it gets a little thicker when you use TRT. And that's one of the signs. But you have to understand, you have to look into this and talk to a doctor. And the problem with most of these situations, and I can't tell you, hey, don't listen to your doctor. But if you go to a health practitioner, like a doctor, like your family doctor. He won't. He won't suggest it. He don't want you to have it unless he's the one that does it. And because they're too afraid of the side effects and all the things that could go along. Just because of, there's been all kinds of, it's funny because all the studies that come out, there's no increase in heart problems or anything like that when you have TRT. As a matter of fact, in some studies it went down because you tend to have a healthier lifestyle, you have less belly fat, your testosterone low, it causes all kinds of problems with your body. So you gotta, it's what end of the sword are you gonna fall on? And so you just have to make the decision for yourself. It helped me out. Obviously, I'm getting results out of it, but it's more the diet. And also on top of that, I don't know if you guys know anything about peptides, but peptides, I'm old. And the peptides, basically what a peptide is your body already naturally produces it. And they found a way in the lab to reproduce that kind of thing. And you can inject it in yourself. It's little insulin needles and stuff. You can get it, you can buy it online. It's not illegal. You can buy it. It's just that when they sell it to you, they say this is for, test only, They do that because that's the only way they legally can sell it to you. And so, but I do TB 500 and then BPC 157. And I've had a couple ailments, 326 days in the gym in a row. I've had some ailments. And so I just take it. I use it. You have to look it up yourself, do your own research. I am not going to give you any dosages. I'm not going to tell you anything. I'm going to tell you, it's called the Wolverine pack. But in my experience, I injected it, my shoulder was rough and I injected it directly into my shoulder. I did it for 7 days, but for 3 days. And I'll tell you what, in my experience, and a few other people that have also tried it, and they might have done it just because I told them that this is happening, it almost went completely away. And you have to read the research on this and stuff, but basically what it is it goes inside your body and it tries to heal any wounds. The only problem is when it comes to peptides is it also heals cancer cells. So when your body's fighting off cancer cells, it goes and it'll heal the cancer cells. So that's another thing. So make sure you're getting checked through in that if you're going to try any of that realm. But don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. This is my experiences with these things and my research and the way I did it. So when you want to hear about these things, this is good advice for you or whatever, do your own research every single time. No matter what anybody says, you do your own research. But do it a lot. Don't do the surface research. You got to read down. You got to find the bad stuff. Find all the things because you want it to be good. You have your opinion about things before you do it. So if you can find a way to find the opposite of your opinion first, and that'll help you get more to the middle. So then you can start to do your research and read it without the bias of, I really, really want this to be. So I recommend it. That's how you do it. And here's the thing is, go to your doctor, get your blood test. They'll let you in on it. And make sure they test your free testosterone. Your estrogen, they're going to give you like an AI, which is a thing that's an anti-estrogen thing, where it stops like your nipples from being sensitive. And if they give that to you, it's bad for your bones. And so what I recommend with that is listen to your doctor. You know what? I'm not going to give no advice on that. What I do is that the second that I get sad at commercials or my nipples get a little sensitive or something like that, then I'll take one of those, and it usually subsides in a few days. But if you start watching commercials and if you're doing TRT and you start getting a little sensitive to commercials, you're gonna need some of that AI. You're gonna need something to your estrogen's a little high. And that's my advice on TRT. I hope I gave you guys a good one. I don't really remember what I talked about because like I said, I did an hour earlier, and sometimes I'm just dumb and it didn't record. So I hope that I helped you guys out with something. I hope you guys keep listening to me. I'm going to try to keep getting better at this. You guys got to understand, man, all it is your mind. I know the health and the fitness and the eating right. And you got to eat high proteins. Definitely eat tons of protein. If you're a girl, I want you to get your proteins up to 150 a day. I know that sounds weird or whatever, but all your calories are going to be mostly through proteins and stuff. It's going to help you out a lot. Your body composition is going to change. You probably won't lose weight, but your body your shirts will feel different. Your pants will feel different, and you'll feel different. So just start eating, like I said, all natural diet. Stick to that, and then when you get to the part where you're comfortable with your diet, that's when I want you to start to lock in and start taking out the things here and there that you know that it's not going to progress you in the right direction. That's what I got for you guys today. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Talk to you soon.